What's up, everyone? Just got back from the Arkansas River, so I'm gonna do a video about, let's just call it what it is, why I hate the Arkansas River. It's why I kind of hate rivers in general. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show y'all, this is just me personally, man, why I don't like it, why I don't like fishing it, why there's things that bother me about rivers and about having to fish them in a tournament. And these are the things that we have to go through on fishing them. It's just one of those deals. I'm a guy who doesn't like variables in fishing, right? I don't like things that I can't control. I don't like making decisions that one decision can possibly be the entire outcome of the entire event. And that's what rivers usually do. And I'll explain all this in the video. So I want to show y'all what goes through not only my mindset, like staying with Scott Martin and Andrew Upshaw and Bradley Hallman. We talked about this every single night when we got in. We talked about the decisions. I can't tell you that we were sometimes trying to figure out, like, I don't think Bradley knew where he was going the morning of the tournament. He was still trying to decide on that. So here it is. I'll kind of explain why we came to those conclusions, why it's set up the way we do, with the decisions we had to make. Like I said, hopefully you'll get a better understanding of what it all goes down through. Like I said, this is my channel, guys. Please subscribe. I appreciate it. I'm gonna tournament season is about kicking up strong now, so I'm about to do more of these. Anyways, check this out. All right, guys, I'm going to kind of keep this up here so I can point at things. All right, this is where we're out of, okay? Right there, that's Three Forks. So basically all this from way up here to way down here, that's Kerr. We can fish pretty much anywhere in this in a day. So what I'm gonna show y'all, and I'm gonna kind of keep this on this map. I'm not gonna really show it on the map, on the satellite map. So basically this is Three Forks all the way to about right there. Okay, I think there's the lock right there. Everything past this is Kerr. So you can fish all of this. You know, you can go up in the Canadian. And if it shows it, okay, and here's the Illinois. It comes out of 10 killer. So you have all those options. Now, that's down south. So you got all of Weber Falls, the river. You got this, the Neosho River that comes out of Fort Gibson. You can go up there. I don't really know anyone that fishes this side. Maybe they do. And then you go up here and you can lock through to pull 3 and run all this. You can run all this way up here. There's even another lock you can go into. This is what we don't like about it. Okay, and I'll explain everything real quick. So traditionally, the pool we're going out of, it's very hard to win out of that pool. The reason it's hard to win a lot of times is because Kerr and that pool below is usually where it's out of. It has bigger fish. There's a bigger population of fish. Here's the problem. We blasted off at 6. We had to weigh in first flight at 1 o'clock. Okay. When you run down to, they had special lock times for us. They were guaranteeing, and I quote, guaranteeing the special locks. And those were, they were going to close at 7:30. Okay. It's a 25 to 30 minute run. That's if you're the first boat. If you're the last boat, you're not going to get out of there until 20 minutes later, hopefully. And so it takes a longer time to get down to the lock for you, right? So they have to hold it open till the last person basically is down there. So they were saying 7:30. That's when they were going to start closing the gates. It takes a little while to get you all in there to raise it up. Now they can do it fairly fast. Doesn't mean they're going to. So we were looking, and we've done this before, we were looking at if they close them at 7:30, by the time they let you all out, and depending on where you're at in the lock, you know, that's a couple more minutes, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 more minutes. By the time you get out of there, you got 80 to 100 guys locking. Now, They blast off. It's an absolute train wreck when when they let us all out. I mean, you got to see some guys' videos on the whole deal. So then you can kind of go wherever you want to. Well, going down a Kerr is another 20 more minutes drive for the bottom end, the Sand Boys. So now you got 20 to 25 minutes to run all the way there. You can take a shortcut, which I know how to do the shortcut. It is the sketchiest shortcut I've ever seen in my life. Not because it's such a bad deal. I mean, I idled it and was kicking up dirt for like a mile. So, I mean, the whole thing is sketchy for about 3 to 4 miles, but there's like a mile of it that's really, really, really bad. So anyways, you can do all that stuff. Even when you get down there, it's not like this is some, like you're locking into like, you know, Gunnersville or Rayburn. You're locking into Kerr, which is still hard. I mean, sometimes it takes you 6, 7, 8 hours to catch 5. So now they had the lock time at 11:30. I believe 11:30, 11:50. By the time they get you up, they were trying to make it to where if you had a 1 o'clock weigh-in, you'd get back. So we're talking 11:30. Let's just say it was around 11:30. You're gonna make your first cast at 8:30, hopefully. That's 3 hours. That's 3 hours to figure it out, and then you got to run all the way back to make it there, make sure you don't get locked out, and make it back in time. So we're all wondering the whole time we're practicing, are we going to be boat 1 or boat 190? It's great if we're 190 as well, because you're like, oh, you get all this extra time. Except the next day, now you're boat 1. Do you want to risk it? Which means you can't spend all your practice time down on Kerr. Now you have to figure out, do I have to put some other time in somewhere else? That's if everything runs smooth, guys. That's like ideal conditions, right? That's like you make it and everything's going good. Here's the problem. Nothing ever goes good on tournament day, right? I know on day 2 they were waiting on a lock in the morning time. You get down there, something breaks down, something messes up. I know a lot of guys got locked out because they tried to lock through another time and there was a barge in there. They tried to guarantee those times, but that doesn't mean they're going to. So now, even after all that, if everything goes smoothly, you're still at the mercy of whether or not you still might get locked out and not make it back. So you might have 20 pounds sitting in the lock or sitting on a barge to get out, and you don't make it. So those are the things, you know, you have the winning tournament bag and you don't make it back. Do you want to risk all that in this tournament? Do you want to risk all your practice time in that event for this tournament? So that's only Kerr. You know, you can lock up, same deal. When you lock up, it's not as good up there. They're not as big a fish, same deals, not as big a population. And so you get away from the crowd to a degree, but you really don't, that's all you're kind of doing. There's like 2 or 3 places on the pool we're out of. The problem is there's really only a couple places to fish, and there were sometimes 20, 25 guys in there. So it's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to risk it all going through the lock to maybe make it not back? No guarantee you'll even catch fish down there. Stay in these other pools, have tons of time more to fish, have to deal with a whole bunch more pressure, more people, and less fish. Lock up, you still lose some time. It's already hard to catch a limit. And that's just the tournament day. Now we're going to get into practice for these things. I know some guys on this place. If you look on your map, there's very few places on that map that show what it really looks like and can you get there. I showed you all a bunch of different places, right? I showed you all the Canadian, I showed you the Illinois, I showed you Kerr, I showed you below Fort Gibson, I showed you up these other places. That doesn't mean you just run up into any of these places. You got to figure out how to get in them. Can you get up in them? A lot of times they're only used for small boats. They had a flood 2 years ago, the massive flood where the barges were stuck on the lock. That was here. That was on the place we're at. So it had one of the worst floods ever. And then they drained this thing, which I found out about when I got there. They drained it like 15 to 20 foot down. Like there was no water in some of these places a year ago for a couple days. So they did some, I mean, this thing's been overhauled. Well, if that's the case, everything changed in that flood. So sandbars got, put in, there's places got silted out. So you almost have to relearn these places. Man, I'm in a boat, man. I'm just not a guy who just likes to wreck my boat and just take a chance. So I'm one of those guys who doesn't mess. I don't just drive through stuff just unknowingly. Like I'm going to take my time and try to figure it out. But that takes time. So I have to pick, you got to pick your poison. So you got all these things you got to deal with. We ain't even talked about trying to catch a fish on this place. I mean, and it's why I hate the river. It's why I hate these systems, is because even talking to some of the locals, like even the Jason Christies and the Hallmans and I'm sure Chris Jones, a lot of these guys, they would talk about these places they had that they could get back into, and it'd be like bite here, bite here, bite here, bite here. I mean, it's and I assume they're on Google Maps, but I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of these little places that probably all look the same, and you just got to know which one of those might have a fish in them, and it might take you a week to figure out how to get back in there if you've never done it. So I'm not worried about the unfair advantage. It's just here's my overall thoughts on all this. I like a lake. Draw a big old circle around the lake, and pretty much on that lake I can go anywhere I want to, and so can you, right? And so I have every advantage of you to find out where a fish lives. If you beat me on there and I had every opportunity to find it and to get to it, I'm like, that's on me, right? This place is not like that. There were guys using smaller boats to get in places. I don't carry 3 boats with me. I don't have a big boat and a little boat and another boat. I mean, I just have one boat. I don't have all these other things. So I just like when things are a little bit more evened out to a degree. And like I said, I don't care about going and fishing against a local who's lived there his whole life and knows some secret spot out in the middle of the lake. Chances are I could find that if I wanted to, or I can figure some other stuff out. But this is just basically getting somewhere where I'll never see, pretty much no one else will. That's the number one thing I hate. There's number 2, and this is a close second. The variables. I don't like risking my entire tournament on a total stranger in a lock who could care less whether or not I make it back for this fishing tournament. I don't like those. I don't like the fact that if I do lock, my fate is sealed on that decision. So, and let me explain that. On a lake, say you go to the north end of a lake and you got an awesome spot in the morning time, and you drive all the way up there and you fish it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and it's no good, and you know it's no good, you can leave and go somewhere else. And yeah, you lost a little run time up there, but you can go, okay, hey, that didn't work out. Now I'm going to go to plan B, plan C. There is no plan B or plan C when you do these. When you make a run like that, that's your plan A, and you got plan A, and that's it. And because you can't now turn around and go back. I mean, it's just too hard. And so that's the problem. Like, you get stuck in these areas or in these places, and water levels change that morning when you get there, and you have no idea. And once you get there, that's when you find out. So I could go on and on, guys. It's just not I'm not very good on these places. I should have locked down. I should have just, I think I did my right decision on day 1, but day 2, I say I should have, only because, man, I thought I was on enough just to squeak by. I was not trying. I knew I wasn't going to try to win this thing, which is very hard for me to start a tournament off that way. I've never done that. I tried to play a smart move, and even that didn't even end up well. I had fish down there in Kerr. I just, with this time limit they put on us about not getting able to fish 8 hours, some of the guys, I was worried about it. it happened to everyone. Everyone struggled on this event. I mean, it was tough, but that's kind of the problem with the river and the problems we faced every day, trying to figure out where we were going to go, how we would practice. It's a tough one, but this is a video I wanted to share with y'all because this is the kind of stuff we had to deal with. I'm glad I don't have to go there anymore. I learned a lot about the Arkansas River. I really did. More than I've been there. This is my 4th time. I learned more this time than all the other 3 times combined. I mean, I really went over this whole place. And I fished all new water for this event. But this is the video I wanted to share with y'all. It's a little bit different, but it's let's just call it what it is. It's why I hate the Arkansas River, or rivers in general. Not all of them are like this, but I would say the majority of them are like this, and that's what's tough about them. So this one's for sure diverse. So anyways, hope y'all liked the video. It's something a little bit different, and let me know what you guys think. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Oneida will just be a smash fest and we'll go up there and crush them. So anyways, till then, guys.